Welcome parents and carers. My name is Natalie. Today we'll be discussing the health and physical education learning area of the Australian curriculum. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, it is a nationwide benchmark that guides teaching and learning from Foundation to Year 10. Today we're focusing on the foundation level, or PrEP as some may call it. Health and physical education is one of 8 learning areas. It has 2 strands, which then include 3 sub-strands, as you can see here on the screen. The underlying purpose of having health and physical education as a mandatory learning area is to enable students with the knowledge and skills that will enhance their well-being and therefore lead a healthy lifestyle now and into the future. Physical exercise alone is a very important aspect of child development, and when I say exercise, I mean planned or structured movement with the intention of developing or improving skills relative to the child. Fine motor skill development is vital at this age. It relates to all the little muscles in hands and fingers, muscles they need to hold their pencil, do the zip on their jacket, or even hold a small ball. In PrEP, something as basic as throwing and catching exercises can target these fine motor skills, as well as work on fundamental movement skills such as object control and body management. The foundations of physical development are laid in PrEP, which allows for the continuous development throughout primary school and beyond. When teaching health and physical education, I like to use a combination of pedagogical approaches because really there isn't one size fits all. What's called the strengths-based approach is essentially focusing on what students can do rather than what they can't do. Although it's been argued that it's essentially avoiding or ignoring flaws in performance or future problems, it's actually really motivating for students. Using this in conjunction with a critical inquiry approach allows for a really positive outlook on health and physical education. By focusing on what benefits our health and questioning why we make healthy choices as opposed to why we shouldn't make unhealthy choices, we're actually getting children thinking and essentially promoting preventative care. When looking at the personal, social and community health strand for PrEP, I like to incorporate ICT in the form of short videos that promote health, safety and well-being, such as how to apply sunscreen. Interactive whiteboards are also great for things like learning about the body, being able to work as a team to name and describe the parts of the body. And for the movement and physical activity strand, I use ICT to promote collaboration, communication and confidence. The app Seesaw is a fantastic student engagement platform used regularly throughout the school. Teaching games for understanding is another pedagogical approach more relative to the movement and physical activity strand. I guess you could call it a top-down approach where students learn games by playing them and specific skills are mastered in the end by doing so. I can assure you this approach is not unfair, although it may appear that way. I never let some students take control of the game whilst others are sort of just left waiting around. This is just one of the reasons I take my assessment quite seriously, both before, during and after learning takes place. I consistently take anecdotal notes on work and behaviour I observe. It's a huge part of how I understand how each student learns, what their strengths are and how they're progressing. Checklists and rubrics are more formal forms of assessment I use, which enable me to assess student understanding and ability in accordance with the Australian curriculum. Rubrics can be timely to create but are great for students to use as a preparation tool and peer assessment. Checklists, on the other hand, are quick and easy to create but are very black and white. Clear and easy for anyone to read, but no room for varying abilities. The combination though of these 3 together are the most effective for planning meaningful lessons that cater to individual PrEP needs. Last but not least, the learning environment. In order to ensure it is both safe and challenging for my students, I make use of my assessment information and follow Standard 4 of the Australian Professional Standards for Teaching, as you can see here on the screen, which is create and maintain supportive and safe learning environments. Assessment again helps me to plan and implement lessons that are challenging in terms of not too easy that they're not learning anything, but also not too hard that it's demotivating. I thought I would leave you all today with this quote. Thank you everyone for coming.